All right, welcome back to another episode of the Extreme Lifestyle Living Podcast. Now, today I'm actually not using the same microphone that I typically use. My computer, I'm just trying to upgrade some stuff to get it more efficient because I've noticed that technical difficulties, if you will, but won't get into that. To be honest, today's episode is the best present to yourself is your presence. And full transparency, the reason why I'm talking about this is for two main reasons. Number one, obviously, I always pick these topics based on the relevancy for my community, my clients, conversations I'm having, and a little bit as to what I'm personally going through. So I think the reason why this is relevant for my community, my clients, my people that I talk to every day, and the people I work with, is we're always so hyper fixated on the next best thing, our next goal, our next achievement, our next milestone, our next career thing, whatever it may be. We're always looking at the next thing, and it's fucking summertime right now. So many of you guys show up every single fucking day to build your guys' bodies, build your guys' lives, standards, boundaries, whatever it may be. And a lot of you guys, organically want to look good and feel good for summertime. And, we all subconsciously want that. We all subconsciously want to go through the summertime feeling our absolute best and looking our best, which is fucking great. I think that's a great goal to have. But sometimes that goal becomes a little bit of an obsession where we actually ruin our entire summers. We're not present for the free time that we have. We're not present for the weather. We're not present for just our own fucking life that we want to do, what we deserve to be living. So as much as I love everyone putting in the work and showing up and having these high ass fucking standards, I think the biggest thing is reading between the lines and make sure you're present to actually enjoy your summer. I know for me personally, there's been multiple summers on multiple occasions that I've just been so hyper fixated on me growing, becoming the best version of myself physically, that I was too scared to really eat off plan or do anything that would, hinder my results. Even if I wasn't following a full structured protocol, I would still hold myself back from enjoying certain things. And then what would happen is, one, I would have a bad relationship with myself. Two, I'd end up eating and doing more things negatively in terms of hindering my results, just for the moral fact that I hit a breaking point stress-wise. And at the end of the day, when you're doing the best you can every single day with your effort, your intentions, and everything in between, all you can do is, be present within that. As long as you gave your best shot, gave your best effort, and you're tracking your calories, you're hitting your workouts, you're doing your non-negotiables when it matters most, then you can balance and have some time off. And I think it's super important for us all to reflect on that, because the summer, especially if you're here locally, is only 2 months. Do you know what I mean? It's July 5th right now when I'm recording this episode. And I know for me growing up, especially in Nova Scotia, your 2 summer months is July and August. The rest of the year is not the summer. It's because again, our weather changes so fast here. We don't have much time to enjoy it. So as much as I want everyone to be still focused on growing and keeping the standard time, showing the fuck up, and I'm not saying not to do that, but again, I want you to alleviate some pressure from yourself and some tension, but just be a little bit more present. Make sure you enjoy the summertime, especially if you're working a typical 9-to-5 job where a lot of your time has to be allocated throughout the course of the year and you get your vacation time here. Be present during it. Enjoy a little bit of extra whatever it is that you like to indulge on. Take a little bit of step back from the gym, and because again, ideally, if you're putting in the work 2 months out of the year, again, not saying you completely fuck off, it's only 2 months out of 12. Do you know what I mean? Your percentage of success, assuming you're hitting every single other month 110%, is still high as fuck. Do you know what I mean? So we don't want to let our idea of our success and our idea of what we need to be doing to hopefully continue to see success crumble us and remove our presence from our present moment. And the second reason why I'm bringing this up is because personally, I started therapy, and I was going to make this episode about a couple questions that I was trying to answer in therapy. And it's funny because I know a lot of people can't do that. So I know I am blessed to a certain from a certain point to be able to handle my emotions and like to share them in this regard, because to me it's also a therapeutic thing as well for me to talk about what I'm going through and know it's inspiring and helping other people. And something about that just really kind of fucking lights a fire under me. And honestly, I even joked, it was maybe one day I'll do a whole therapy session on a podcast episode, record it, and fucking just upload it, because I think excuse me, I think the biggest thing when it comes with that stuff is it's really hard to embrace the turmoil you're going through mentally. Certain experiences, certain traumatic things that have happened, certain ideologies you may have, just, mentally just not being 100% your best version. And I'm not saying I'm struggling by any means. I like to go to therapy, wanted to get into it to continue to see success. But nonetheless, the reason I'm saying that is because I know it's very hard for people to share their experiences with therapy, talk about what's going on behind closed doors. And there's a multitude of layers of why that is. But for me personally, I really like sharing it. And I think a lot of you guys as well, once you get on the safer side of your guys' mindset, more confident with what you guys are talking about internally, a lot of you guys would like to do that as well, because most of us feel the same way on a foundational standpoint as humans, but our experiences and things that we've gone through in life are entirely different. But the main part of my therapy session was, talking about safe places, making sure that I feel safe and secure and certain in terms of my life. And from a tactical business life standpoint, I'm absolutely incredible with that. But life isn't black or white. We can't just live our life in check boxes. And even for me to hang out with myself and enjoy myself, enjoy Emma, enjoy the people around us, enjoy my family, my time, like I can't always have that mindset dialed in. Like going to the gym, tracking my nutrition, working out, building the business, making sure the clients are good. I can have systems and algorithms and checkpoints and very black or white circumstances for these standards, right? But when it comes to healing yourself, when it comes to being your best version of yourself from an authentic standpoint of your soul, who you are as a person, without any of these extra labels, not the label of me being a coach, not the label about me being a boyfriend or a husband, not this label of me being somebody that's like, super, like, just no labels, just me, like not the label of me being a son, an uncle, a brother, whatever it may be, like removing all of these different labels as to these hats I put on each day to play this character that's a version of me. The version of me that's for myself is the one that's just me removed with everything, just my soul. And the biggest thing that I'm learning in terms of safe places, in terms of being, more therapeutic in this sense, is just giving myself my own presence and not having a checkpoint, not having these checklists. And, we all say on our days off, we're going to reset our house, we're going to do these things that fulfill us. And next thing you know, on our days off, we have this fucking to-do list to feel good. And it's like the best present you can give yourself is just your presence. It doesn't have to look like anything crazy. It doesn't have to look like anything extravagant. Like if it ends up being like a 10-step process that makes you feel your best, where you do reset your house, you go out and do a couple errands that make you feel good, maybe you indulge in some food or just do an activity, like it's reading, drawing, something self-expressive, video games, going for walks, whatever it is, that's your kind of thing that helps you kind of center yourself and feel like you're in tune with yourself and giving yourself that presence. That's all that matters. And I think the biggest thing for me is I've always loved putting in the work. Like I love my job. I love doing these podcasts. I love editing them. I love uploading them. I love doing everything with them on the back end in terms of like figuring out what I'm going to talk about. I love hanging with my clients. I got a bunch of programs I got to do, and it gets me fired up. Like it really does, because I love what I do. And like every other system that I have with my life to build to where I want to go, I genuinely love it. But again, that's not 110% me. That's like 95% of me. So that 5 to 10% that I got to give back to myself is me doing things that fulfill me, reward me, make me feel my best, make me feel whole, centered, and alleviates all my stress from putting in the work. That give or take. It's the same way we talk about when you're counting your calories and nutrition. It's like you got to give yourself some food that you would like to indulge on to get that break. Same with the gym. Like every now and then, it's like maybe taking a different approach for your training to give it, making it newer, taking a step back and not going as often to give yourself that break. Whatever it is that aligns with your lifestyle and your goals and where you're going. The biggest thing is like making sure that you are the center point of that. For me personally, that's why I ended up going to therapy, is because everything that I've ever built the last 6 years is absolutely incredible. Like my life is fucking perfect on so many levels. The only issues that I have are just big goals that I haven't achieved yet, which literally are just going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight. And then just making sure while I build these goals, I'm giving myself the present of being present, of giving myself the best present, which is my presence, to just enjoy myself. And coming from a very tactical background, coming from a business, education, coming from running things in that regard, it's hard for me just to sit there and hang out. It's hard for me just to sit down and not do anything. But the biggest thing I've learned recently, it's not about what we do, it's about giving ourselves permission to do that. So the biggest thing I want you to do is just start giving yourself the best present that you could ever give in your entire lifestyle, which isn't a fucking goal, isn't an achievement, isn't anything in that regard. It's your own presence. Our whole lives we go just trying to get to this end goal of, whether it's financial stability or building a family or building a body or building a business or building this day-to-day, week-to-week life structure that we fucking love, just to get to the end goal, to see that it's not even, we can't take it with us. Like in whatever you believe in terms of spirituality, religion, God, of the afterlife, like we're all going to die one day. Like whether it's today, tomorrow, next month, next year, whatever it is. And we're all on this continuous journey of just trying to be the best versions of ourselves, which is fucking great. But sometimes we got to take a step back, and that cliche saying, and smell the roses, is true. Smelling the roses is you giving yourself your own presence to make sure that you're at least looking at everything from the right lens. Because sometimes we get so hyper-fixated on the job, so hyper-fixated on the relationship, so hyper-fixated on the physical goals, all these different things, that we forget even what we have in front of us. Like yesterday is gone, there's nothing we can do about it. This morning is gone, there's nothing we can do about it. Tonight hasn't happened yet, there's nothing we can do about it. There's nothing about tomorrow that's promised, next week, and so forth. So the only time we really have is the right now. As you're listening to this, I'm recording this. I can think about what I'm going to do for the rest of this evening, but that hasn't come yet. You know what I mean? I can take the future and bring it into the present moment and stress about what I need to do. But again, what does that do for me? It doesn't do anything. It takes my own presence away from myself. Same thing if I was thinking about yesterday or, any past experiences, like it's gone. Not saying we don't have to do anything with certain experiences in life, in terms of these timelines that I'm talking about. But again, our present moment right now, as I'm recording this, July 5th, 1:12 p.m., all I need to be focusing on right now is being present for this podcast and enjoying it as best as I can. Not thinking about the editing process, not thinking about the uploading process, not thinking about the programs that I got to do or the extra laundry I got to do and getting the week set up, X, Y, and Z. That's how you exhaust yourself. And it's the same concept with the gym when you're over analyzing all of the things that are coming up over the next 2 months and trying to enjoy summer. It's like, oh fuck, like I have these events, there's these temptations, the summers, like the weather's out there, my schedule's gonna be pressed. Like we can sit here and hyper fixate on all of these different things, the what ifs, and bring up all these theories of what's going to happen and where our time's going to go. But it's like at the end of the day, that's just going to take you away from the present moment now. Do what's in front of you now, and the rest will always take care of itself. And that way there, at least when you're giving yourself the time to be present within everything that you're building and doing, you're going to look at it from a lot more authentic lens. You're not going to be carrying anxiety around, thinking about all these different things. You're not going to be carrying around any of these burdens of stress in terms of like, oh, I got to do this, or I got to, like, whatever it is you're hyperfixating on. You're just taking true peace away from where you're at right now and true meaning of actual life, and that's why I love the quote, be where your feet are at. And when I heard that for the first time, it was almost incredibly hard for me to even conceptualize what that meant. But it's like, be where your feet are at. Right where your feet are at right now. Think about where it's at in the present moment, and that's where you just need to be. Nowhere else mentally, 100%. So right, for me personally, as I'm sitting here, I'm in this office. I can see me being recorded. I got the camera in front of me. I got everything set up to make sure it looks good. I don't have to think about anything else. Do you know what I mean? I just got to be completely fucking present where it's at. And to be honest, it's hard. It was incredibly hard to give myself this time, because as soon as I started to give myself this time, I started feeling anxious. I started feeling this resistance, like, oh, I got this to do, I got that to do, I got this to do, I got that to do. And at the end of the day, like, we have the same 24 hours in the run of a day. If you want to spend 24 hours of it stressing and creating these theories and creating these algorithms and these thought processes as to what you need to do and think you need to do, or think what you think you need to worry about and figure out whatever it may be, it's the same concept of the quote that I say, if you think you're right, you're right. And if you think you're wrong, you're also right. So there's no right or wrong way to think. But again, if you do feel like you're not as happy, you do feel like you're not as fulfilled, you do feel like you're just working all the time and you're exhausted, feel like you're burning out all the time, and you'd also feel like you're just not fulfilled and feeling rewarded with your day-to-day and week-to-week actions, even if you know the things you're doing every day and every week are aligned with the life you want to build, that's that gap you need to fill. And that's what I had. Like I've been working for myself since 2023. Like we're going on 3 years, going on 4 years of me having 1,000% control over my schedule, not needing to call in sick, not needing to call a boss or explain my case in my life as to why things are where they're at and I can't come in or whatever it may be. And that level of freedom, allowed me to really get tested personally, because I didn't have anyone else holding me accountable for things that I wanted to do other than myself. So what did I do? I worked 10 times more, I worked 10 times harder, and I just started to build things, which I'm happy as fuck, because look at my life, I'm incredibly happy with it. But again, that came at the cost of my own presence. I wasn't present. Even me living in Mexico this time last year. Actually, I think this time last year, we would have just been moving out of our last place, and then we had 3 weeks kind of in limbo before we moved to Mexico last August. The entire time I was in August, I wasn't even 100% present. I was still so hyper fixated on building the next thing, because to get to Mexico and live internationally was just a checkbox to me. It was a goal that I never believed in, that I started to build towards, that ended up becoming true. But the whole time I was so hyper fixated on building and growing and adapting that I wasn't present once. That's something me and Emma talk about all the time. Like, I didn't enjoy that as much as I should have. Did I gain and learn a lot about myself and everything else? 110%. But again, if I was to know what I knew now back then, I would have enjoyed it so much more. I would have worked way less, which wouldn't even have impacted probably my income or any of the growth, because again, just because I'm busy doesn't mean I'm being productive, which is kind of another concept that you guys would get into as well, is just, I don't have time to give myself my own presence or hang out or chill or whatever it may be. And yeah, you may be right to a degree, but that's not every waking second of the fucking day, because if that was true, your success would be almost fucking, you wouldn't be able to comprehend it. Do you know what I mean? So we keep ourselves busy by focusing on the future, focusing on the past, and creating all these different spaces in our life to hold these things that really don't serve us. Do what's in front of you right now, and then you're always going to be right where you need to be. And if you're not where you want to be, again, giving yourself the presence will allow you to organically reflect on what is more important to you, to then, again, build to where you're going. And if you're always present, every single decision, every single action, every single intention, every fucking little bit of effort you put into whatever it is you're doing will always be that much closer to what you need. And that's how you stay present to really build the life of your dreams. And the crazy thing is like I built my life to where it's at. It almost sounds like I'm kind of being kind of reductive right now because I was super present in the beginning to learn where I was at in my life. Let's say during COVID, so 2020 was when I kind of started digging into these things. Super present from 2020 until about 2022. Things started taking over, started seeing success, started feeling good, started making money, started transitioning my life. And then I completely got rid of my own presence and just dived right into everything that I was doing, which again, I'm not saying is a bad thing, but on the back end of being so happy with outside, from inside looking out of everything I built, now it's just outside. Now it's just about looking on the outside, looking in, and seeing how empty I am in some of these areas. You know what I mean? So this year, I've really learned a lot about that. And if I was to be honest, which is why I'm sharing all of this, if I was to look back and say, if I was to give 50% of my energy back to myself to be more present, how much of my actual life would be impacted in terms of my growth? Would I not be as, because that's what it is, right? It's fear of failure, fear of like, you're not like making sure things come to fruition and stuff like that. So we overwork, we overdo things, we overstress because we want to just make sure we feel like we're in control, which is a false identity of control. If I was to look back and be like, hey, like would that really impact my success from a financial level, a growth level, all these different things? And to be honest, maybe 10 to 15% would have been impacted. But again, the goal is to grow and always be happy and fulfilled and rewarded and enjoy what we're doing. Do you know what I mean? So it's like that 10 to 15% is where you get into that conversation of your value of who you are as a person and what you think you deserve. And, I do now as a mature person going through therapy and figuring out my shit, I value myself over that 10 to 15%. Do you know what I mean? And again, if you're more articulate and clear as to who you are and what you're doing each day, that 10 to 15% in terms of return on investment, when you give more energy back to yourself, will end up turning into like 50 to 80% of more growth. Do you know what I mean? Because everything will be that much more aligned and things in that regard. But the best present you can give yourself is the present. There's no better time like today to give yourself the fucking time. 100% as cheesy as that sounds. But I just wanted to share that with you guys because it's fucking summertime. You guys deserve to enjoy your guys' selves to the fullest, especially if you do live a more standardized lifestyle where you work 9 to 5 and a lot of your time is allocated to work every other time of the year and you have like, kids, they're off, vacation, whatever it may be, like enjoy it. Do you know what I mean? But again, just put in the work when it fucking matters, and you're always gonna be where you need to be. And above all else, just make sure that the life that you are building, you're at least happy fucking building it. Because like they say, like not all good things are great. Do you know what I mean? So just because you're going to achieve a goal, whether it's a fitness goal, financial goal, boundary goal, whatever it may be, or a milestone, that doesn't mean you're guaranteed to get your success on that other end of that, or guaranteed to get your happiness on the other end of that. So focus on being present now and cultivating that happiness, that fulfillment, and that self-identity in terms of you feeling good regardless of what the external looks like. Then I can promise external is always not only going to look as good as you want it to be, but always going to exceed your expectations because it's going to get that much better because it's that much more aligned with you. But other than that, I appreciate you guys all. Super excited for a lot of these things that I'm going to get into because I have a lot of projects I've been working on, and I feel like the next 2-3 months, a lot of them are going to start coming out, which gets me fired the fuck up. But I appreciate you guys all. Keep leading from the front and setting those standards. And if you guys ever need anything, obviously don't hesitate to reach out. Let's fucking go.